Right then, welcome to Happy Hungry Hibby. Yes, what we're going to bring you this week is something exclusive from Hib's Book Club Cloner, and it is the one and only new cookbook from yours truly, Gaz Oakley. So if you don't know who Gaz is, you've obviously been hiding under a rock for the past 5 years at least, because Gaz has an absolutely sensational following on social media. He's across all these platforms, he's probably got about 3 million subscribers, but most notably it is his following on YouTube, which is a very difficult platform to master, as I have discovered myself. So yeah, he's got about 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube, and his channel is absolutely sensational. So basically Gaz learnt his chefing days from the age of about 15 in Cardiff, and he basically took those skills away from what he learnt and actually found a nice little treat with his family in the north of Wales, where he's got his own little homestead and farm, and basically grows his own food, does lots of foraging, and just he's completely self-sufficient. In fact, yes, it does remind me pretty much of Hugh Fernley Whittingstall, and kind of like how he set up about 20 years ago. So this is kind of, he must have actually inspired Gaz and what he's done. But yeah, it's really good how Gaz actually really does respect everyone who is inspired him. So yeah, a few years ago at his rural home in the Welsh countryside, Gaz planted a kitchen garden with the aim of utilising plants to their full potential. So yeah, he's gone through a bit of an evolution, and he's moved a couple of times to now where he's got this set up with his family. It's absolutely brilliant, which you can discover. So yeah, I'll put the link here for his YouTube channel. Do check it out. It absolutely shadows my YouTube channel with a mediocre at 4,500 subscribers. Yeah, 1.8 million subscribers. Yeah, and I've done about the same amount of videos, about 300 videos. But yeah, he's obviously doing, but you know, his videos are absolutely brilliant. The way he's got a team with filming and the editing, and also the way he does lots of different videos, even showing cooking in his garden, things like that. Is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so Gaz actually covered a few books before, and I've actually got this one as well, which is absolutely brilliant. You know, this is the Vegan 100. I think this was his first one, and this is where he covers over 100 recipes from the Avant-Garde Vegan, and that's how he first started off. Yeah, this book's also really good, and the way everything is demonstrated is brilliant, and that's more like fast food and still very inspiring from his very good chefing skills. And I really do like how he's really evolved with the plant-based scene. So from where he's gone with this to this book is absolutely brilliant. You know, it's more about what he's grown at home, and it covers a lot more on foraging and fermented food, which is right up my scene. Really, really good. But yes, what this book does, it focuses on accessible ingredients like carrots, beetroot, cabbage, onions, tomatoes, apples and strawberries, and that's pretty much the content of this book. Really unique in how he's done that, and I do like how the chapters are put together, because it just allows you to just take those core ingredients, those fruit and veg, and adapt them in many different ways. He's created a medley of seasonal delicious dishes that showcase these crops at their best, revealing the beauty of the passing seasons and magic feeling that comes alongside harvesting and cooking your own food. Plant to plate will inspire you to make the most of fresh produce and perhaps take inspiration from your very own homestead. Yeah, so very fortunate that he does have his own homestead. I do have a plum tree in my garden, but I don't really have much that I can grow from, but nevertheless still great to cover these very accessible ingredients from supermarkets, or if you grow them yourselves. The quality of this book is absolutely brilliant. It's done by Penguin, which is the Random House, and it's actually a really good size, really sturdy, fits on my bookshelf, which I have downstairs really well, easy to grab and easy to use. But what makes this book brilliant is the visuals. It's really easy to read, it's really good quality. The pages as well, and you can see Gaz here, he's foraging in his own greenhouse there, and he's a very trendy dude, you know, very, very good inspiration with his fashion as well. Look at the contents of the book. You've got your growth, respect, free food, it's alive. Really good how he goes through some of the important equipment and pantry essentials. And then, yeah, this is where he looks at the star ingredients, which is the content of the book, which I'll dive into more detail. And then at the end, you've got the index and acknowledgements and something a little bit about the author as well. But he does actually cover that as he goes through, because here he talks about the growth and how he set up. Absolutely fascinating read. Great respect to the people that have influenced him, from Keith Lloyd to Rick Stein and Gordon Ramsay and so on, and how he's become a bit of a romanticist himself in the cooking world. Marco Pierre White and also, yeah, he does reference the River Cottage as well in terms of the foraging side. And it's just lovely to see him with his family. You can see him with his father here, who's inspired some of his recipes, and also his mother as well, which you'll see throughout the book. It's really well written. It's just sheer poetry and how he's done this. And you can see Rick Stein here is visited him. I'm very jealous. Absolutely brilliant. And the chapter here about respect as well, not just around the people, but around the food that he's surrounded in. Yeah, then this is the part also looking at free food and the foraging aspect, which is really taken off over the past decade, especially since COVID hit. Yeah, he's really got respect here for John Wright and Adele Nosdar. Adele Nosdar actually, he's got a fantastic book called Foraging with Kids, which is absolutely brilliant. I've covered and recipes from that book, which is fantastic. And yeah, the Forager's Calendar by John Wright is also very, very good. Looking at things like mushrooms here, but he does seasonal things like wild garlic as well. He's covered an awful lot. Yeah, and then this is something he's starting to do a lot more of now, which you can see on his YouTube channel. It's alive, and also a great troubleshooting guide here for when things do go wrong. But I love this sort of terminology, looking at some key things of the fermentation, like equipment and sterilisation, salt percentages, which is kind of like quite key as well, because you don't want to use too much salt, but yeah, generally 2 to 3% is the key volume to use. And yeah, so really good. And then also looking at the important equipment, not going into too much detail, but things like a silicone spatula is absolutely essential. I absolutely agree with that. And then some pantry essentials as well, looking at some really key ingredients for plant-based things like miso and dry beans, grains, nut seeds, different flowers, so many different varieties of flowers out there, and also sweetness, dried fruit which you can dehydrate, and date, molasses as well is something that I use a lot of. Yeah, and dried mushrooms and things that you can do to dehydrate it, so it does last the seasons as well, which we've often forgotten. And then this is when he comes to the star ingredients, which is the main core of this book, into different chapters, which is really, I really like that style, what he's done. So the strawberry, potato, carrot, courgette, tomato, beetroot, chili, onion, apple, and then pumpkin squash. And then this is where he starts off with strawberries. And yes, this does really bring back fond memories of when I used to forage strawberries with my grandmother, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago at the ripe age of 108. And yeah, she used to have these wild strawberries in her garden, and they were so small but so flavoursome. They were absolutely amazing. Yeah, so looking into this chapter, strawberries, baked strawberry watermelon pistachio salad. This is absolutely, but I just love the illustrations with every recipe. There is something where his presentation skills are absolutely exceptional, and really does inspire everything that he covers in his books. But yeah, this is brilliant. I mean, balsamic vinegar is something that really does complement strawberries very well. No, this recipe here is absolutely sensational and really does look a flavour bomb. Just love how he's used these ingredients like za'atar and miso and pistachio butter with chilies, watermelon, strawberries, and then with couscous. So yeah, it's now drawing away from summer now. So I mean, I'm looking forward to covering some of these recipes next year. The next recipe is the balsamic strawberry cardamom with fire bread. Look at that, looks absolutely amazing. And he does a lot of these recipes out in his garden himself, where he uses like a wood-fired oven and things like that. Then fermented strawberry with whipped macadamia nut yogurt, and that's something else which is fantastic. He uses a lot of plant-based ingredients, so there's no dairy or meat products in a lot of these recipes, and very, very natural. And this is where he's covering pretty much, you guess it, yes, the Welsh cakes, strawberry and lavender. Yeah, and lavender is an absolute brilliant ingredient to get. You can buy it from this company online where you buy lavender flowers, dehydrated, and I put the link below actually, which is something that you can look at. But yeah, these look absolutely brilliant. And yeah, Welsh cakes are very much like, as he's explained here, almost like a scone, a biscuit, and like a pancake. It's a very, very signature Welsh tradition. Yeah, then strawberry jerk, oyster mushrooms with strawberry Scotch bonnet dressing. Very much a Jamaican inspired recipe here. Look at that. Strawberry and hibiscus chutney. Hibiscus is an incredible thing to get. I do use hibiscus a lot, mainly in my water kefir recipes. But strawberry and hibiscus sounds really good combination. And then strawberry kombucha. Kombucha, yes. I'm looking forward to doing this with my water kefir grains. So yeah, kombucha and water kefir are very much similar. They are both scobies, which stands for a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. And this is something that once you start making, you cannot stop. You basically go through batches of this. Absolutely incredible. And you can see him here in his garden with his very own batch. Absolutely brilliant. Strawberry sorbet with strawberry top and dill oil. Look at that. Cannot wait to make that. So I've actually got one of those Ninja creamy devices, which I'm going to love making sorbet. And then it leads us on to the next chapter, which is potatoes. So yeah, you've got the charred aloo. Absolutely brilliant. Look at that. And I just love the simplicity with some of these dishes, and very multicultural as well. Fluffy spelt potato bread. Hummus and spinach, mashed potato with black beans. I mean, what I do love about his recipes is that it's plant-based, but it's so inspiring, so healthy, but flavoursome, with the use of things like cumin and oregano and soy sauce and miso paste, mushrooms. Incredible. Legalos, potato fondant. So yeah, obviously a very French dish, and a really nice little insight, something personal from him here, which has obviously inspired this recipe. Potato and green bean salad. Look at the simplicity of that, which would be lovely for a Sunday roast. Leek potato soup with macadamia and chive dressing. Again, a simplicity of a dish which is really jazzed up. Looks like it's got some kind of a dumpling in that too. Wow. Potato and mustard donuts. This is something that is just really innovative. And as you can see here, he sort of explains how he's done this and demonstrated how he's done this. I think it's further on he's sort of shown how to do these donuts. And then smashed new potatoes here. You can see the illustrations how he's done this. And he's no doubt filmed a lot of these recipes as well on his YouTube channel. And that's what's good about this. You'll be able to see some of these recipes in the visual form as well. Triple cooked chip butty and pea puree. Wow. And then it brings you to the third chapter, which is carrots. Absolutely brilliant. So carrot and clementine set custard. Wow, incredible. And then you've got the carrot ribbon and charred kimchi. This is a really good fermentation pickled recipe. Carrot top salsa verde, carrot, coconut and wild rice salad. I really love how the texture of this as well, how that's been cut up to give it that real good presentation. Cream of carrot and hazelnut tagliatelle. That looks superb. I really cannot wait to make that. Immune boosting carrot ferment. Wow. Baby carrot tempura with carrot kimchi emulsion. That is so innovative. And then this is amazing. Look at this. It's a smoked carrot kebab with a burnt onion puree. Look at this, how he's presented. Cutting the carrots up, put it onto a kebab stick. It really looks like it's been caramelised and then put onto this bed of burnt onion puree. It looks like an absolute flavour bomb. That's actually it used black tea leaves and miso with lemon. Wow. Whole roast carrot, olive and sun-dried tomato cream tart. So yes, we have actually a special guest, as you can see. Harvey is here. Hello, Harvey. My little sidekick. Yeah, so the next part of the book goes into courgettes, and as you can see here, Gaz has foraged some of the amazing courgettes from his homestead. Yeah, so now into the courgettes, and as you can see, Gaz here, forever a bit of a trend set. I mean, look at me here, with no socks or shoes on, just getting the natural aura of his garden. So yeah, so the recipes he's covered here is the beer battered courgette flowers stuffed with creamy mushrooms. I don't think you can actually buy the courgette flowers, but if you can actually grow them, that is incredible. Almost like kind of like a tempura, really good. And you can see here, he's done this with his mother. Here you can see here a lovely candlelit courgette recipe with like a tomato sauce. So here is like a sauce he's made it with here. So that's the beer battered courgette with like a simple tomato sauce. And then here you've got the burnt courgettes with whipped tofu. That looks absolutely brilliant. Cannot wait to do this. This is something I'm going to cover and try very soon. And then you've got courgette fritters. This is something in the plant-based world that is really, really popular. And I've tried quite a few different variations, but we're looking forward to trying this. Looks really good. Courgette kimchi, Chinese style kimchi pancakes, courgette lavender and rye oat cookies, courgette leek, white bean and kale stew, which looks absolutely brilliant for this season as well, as now going to enter autumn. Curried courgette relish, fermented nut stuffed courgette flowers, and then we come on to the very good tomatoes. I mean, look at this sort of varieties of tomatoes there. It looks absolutely sensational, and you can actually buy many different varieties from the supermarkets these days. So cream of tomato, fennel and lemongrass soup, crumpets con tomato, or tomate may I say. This is something that I really cannot wait to do, which is absolutely brilliant. Dried dehydrated tomatoes. So look at the way he's got a dehydrator here, and he's actually put them onto the trays and fermented some of these amazing varieties of tomato. I've actually done a fermented tomato ketchup recipe from the River Cottage book by Rachel DeFample. It's absolutely brilliant. Do check out my video of this, but I cannot wait to try this one because this is a combination of tomato and mushroom, which looks sensational. Really, really good. And then stuffed tomatoes, tomato and nasturtium kimchi, a tomato kimchi, which has some Indian inspiration or Korean, tomato kimchi fried tofu, a tomato broth, tomato and butterbean summer salad, a tomato thyme almond upside down cake. Look at that. And then it comes on to a very underrated vegetable of beetroot itself, which is a very healthy vegetable to have, and I've got lots of science behind it. Very good for your heart. Beetroot and black bean brownie. Cannot wait to make that, and which is fantastic for sport as well. Beetroot and blackberry barbecue sauce. Beetroot and cardamom ice cream. Marinated beetroot carpaccio with horse radish cream and broad beans. Look at that. Sensational. Pickled beetroot three ways, winter by the fire, pickled golden beet and thyme, candy beet, fennel and lemon pickle, and then beet leaf curried kimchi, beetroot peshwari naan. Look at that, absolutely amazing, very inspiring. And then pizza, which is basically a beetroot type of dough. Wow. Beetroot and chickpea coconut curry, beetroot fritters with borscht, which is like an Eastern European staple, and then chilies. You cannot do this without chilies. So chili sambal with barbecue runner beans, dried chili spice mix with celeriac crisps, his dad's crunchy chili oil. Look at that. Fermented chili cucumber spirals, salted chili and olive oil chocolate mousse with toasted hazelnuts. Wow. Scotch bonnet black bean patties and Scotch bonnet jam, pear fig rosemary and chili tart tatin. Just look at him having fun there. Absolutely brilliant. Shiitake chili hot pot, and then this is sensational. This is actually, his reference is his favourite thing to do. In terms of a medicinal product, it's called fire cider, and it's pretty much a fermenting your Scotch bonnets or your chilies, and it's made with ginger and turmeric root, but lemons, and then lots of different spices as well, including dried elderberries. Now, it is elderberry season now, and I'm intrigued to know how you can get your own dried elderberries, but he's put that down as optional here because it's not always easy to get. But this looks sensational, and here he references, believe it or not, for me this is the most important recipe in the entire book. Fire cider is a traditional herbal remedy used for centuries, and wow, what inspiration. I really cannot wait to do that. So absolutely fantastic. And it shows you him preparing the ingredients, then setting yet his own ferment here to infuse everything as well. And then fermented chili hot sauce, sensational. One of my favourite things to ferment is chilies, which the Middle Eastern call shatter. And then you come on to onions. So here you've got burnt onion hummus with crispy onions. This is a great thing to dehydrate as well if you can, and use a lot less oil. Dehydrated onions, thin them up slightly and dehydrate them. Caramelised onions, very basic, but this can last a while. This is the reference here. I've actually done this already, but it's something great to do in advance, and it will last a few weeks as well. Caramelised onion cornbread, sensational. Fermented onion and sultana pakoras, pickled little onions, sticky onion celeriac and chestnut Gillette, stuffed harissa onions, wow, the bomb braised onion. And then coming on to the last one, which is apples. Shows you here in harvesting them. Apple and pak choi kimchi, apple fennel and basil ferments, which you can see here, both different ferments going on here, the pak choi kimchi and then the ferment here. Apple sage puccini rolls with a slaw, wow. Chunky apple and ginger spelt pie with chamomile custard, calming apple peel tea. This is really good because it's showing you how to use often the part that you would throw away. Really good. As you can see here, getting us prepared for the season ahead. Classic British brown sauce. I've not actually tried this yet. This does look sensational. So he's all covered like a ketchup, but now he's covering the classic British brown sauce and how to make that in a healthy, unprocessed way. Kale and apple salad with maple and peanuts. Roasted celeriac apple and fennel soup with a crispy garlic. Stuffed campfire apples. Reminds me of my scouting days there, you know. Something very much a very autumnal thing to have. Whole roasted apple bara brith, which is a Welsh cake. Pumpkin and squash, also very seasonal for the times ahead. Fermented pumpkin seed log, that looks fantastic, with macadamia nuts but also nutritional yeast and lots of spices, then using some of your own probiotic cultures. Pumpkin and pearl barley stew with nettle dressing, wow. Pumpkin croquettes, pumpkin seed and apricot energy bars, roasted pumpkin ravioli, and a bit of a guide here how to make it. Sikil pack with panis and roasted pumpkin. And then here it shows you how to make cinnamon spice sourdough donuts, and what a way to sort of end the book, to sort of try and make sort of something that is often very processed. Wow, a bit of a guide on how to do it as well. Superb. And then whipped pumpkin polenta with braised kale and mushrooms. Very much an underrated ingredient is polenta. It's absolutely fantastic. And then that is the end. Something a bit about the author at the end. Just a bit of a summary and then acknowledgements, which is very courteous of him to look at everything that's inspired him and his background. So this is an absolutely fantastic book to get. You can buy it off Amazon, or I think you could probably buy it from his website as well, or various places. Very easy to get. So yeah, really do recommend this. I'll give this a solid 9 out of 10. It's a very good book, very well written. It's a good all-rounder because it's from someone who has great chefing skills but great presentation skills, and also it's plant-based, which is healthy. He's probably one of the best chefs out there for inspiring healthy but flavoursome recipes. So hope you really enjoyed this. Please do put your comments below what your favourite plant-based books are. Also what your favourite recipe is from any of his books, whether it be this or one of his past ones. Put your comments below. Really hope you enjoy my channel. Please check out my playlist